Hello everyone, welcome to Lab 7.6.3 from DevNet Associate course from Cisco. This course is about using pyATS and Genie. In the first part, we are going to use or start the virtual image, which is already started in the background as you can see. And then we are going to create a virtual environment. We did this before in one of the previous videos or labs. And then we are going to prepare and use pyATS testing library. In part 3, we are going to use Genie to parse iOS commands and command output. In part 5, we are also going to use Genie to compare configurations. And finally, we are going to clean up. In part 4 and part 5, we are going to use also, beside the virtual image in the background, the virtual router to interact with this and configure and get the configuration from it. I'm not going to start it now. I will start it when I reach part 4. Okay, so as a background about pyATS, it is an ecosystem for testing. It can be used for small or simple linear cases, which of course can be scaled for large programs. In case of Genie, it's an extends and builds, as you can see it's written here, to reuse in network environment. So we are going to use Genie as it is mentioned in part 4 and in part 5 to interact, getting and configure the iOS devices. Okay, in part 2, so part 1 I will skip it because I think you are familiar with it. So in part 2 we are going to create a Python virtual environment. As you know, to create a variable or Python virtual environment, we need first to create a directory, and then we move to the directory using cd, and then we type this command python 3-m virtual environment and the name of the environment. Here, after this command, a directory under this name will be created, and as you will see. Okay, so let's do this together. Here, first we are going to create a directory called pyATS, and you can see this double and means that both commands will be executed sequentially. The first one is this one, and the second one is going to be this one. So make directory inside labs devnet -source python atc, and then after creating the directory, move to this directory. Okay, as you can see here, I am in this directory now, which is the output of this directory here. Okay, now let's create a virtual environment under the name CSR1KV. If we type here ls, you will see a directory under the same name here. Let's move inside this directory and let's type ls here, and as you can see, we have here bin and we have here Python environment CSV, and here also we have, as you can see here, this is a directory, this is also a directory, this is a directory, this is a file, this is a directory, and here we have L. This is a link, and this is called a simple link or symbolic link. As you can see here, this directory here, this link here, pointing to the lib. Okay, so let's see more. Let's examine or check the content of this Python environment CSV, or sorry, CFG. So as you can see, this file pointing or referring to the home user bin. Okay, so let's see what is there. Under the root, there is a user and there is also a bin. We are going to see many files, or actually commands or programs. So let's filter this out to include only something with Python. And here, as you can see, the asterisk remaining meaning everything like starting with Python. And as you will see here, let's remove this -l. And you see here we have user bin Python 3, we have here also 3.8, and so on. Okay, so let's check again what is here more. We have now the one bin, which is similar to this one here. It's only similar, but they are not the same. Let's see this. Let's move to this directory. And as you can see here, we have activate also. This is a command. This is also that we use to activate the environment. Okay, so here we have also Python 3 and here we have Python. As you will see here, the color is different. So why? Let's check this together. Okay, I'm not going to check now this because it's out of the scope. So let's stay here with -l because in -i is I number. However, so here we have -l, and as you can see here again we have two links. The first one is Python, which is pointing to Python 3, which we saw here at the beginning to this one. And the second one is Python 3, which is pointing to user bin Python 3. Okay, so here is an indication or a link to the Python. So this is the secret behind the virtual environment. The link here, a simple link, is similar to the creating a shortcut in Windows. Okay, so if you still don't know or have no information about the links, check please on the internet hard link and soft link. Okay, so let's now activate this environment because we need to work with this virtual environment, and to activate this environment we are going to use the command source bin activate. And you have to know that I am under this directory now, and now we should activate this environment. You can see here I am in the bin and I should be under CSR1KV. So let's do this. Now I am in the same location, and as you can see now, as the environment is activated. To deactivate the environment, just type deactivate, as you will see at the end of the lab. Okay, in the next part we are going to use the Python or pyATS testing library. First we need to install this library, so let's install this one. Sorry, pip3 install Python ATS full. Okay, so we saw errors, so let's verify that this pyATS is installed. So to do this we can type pyATS py for Python and then help. And as you can see here, we have run py command help for more information on the command, and it is here also as well. Okay, next step we are going to clone from GitHub a sample script, and then we are going to examine this script. So I'm going to take this one here and I'm writing git clone. And now we can see here we have an example. Let's list the content of this example folder. You can see here we have basic. Let's see what is inside basic. And you can see here we have basic example job.python, and we have here basic example script.python. Then let's examine these two files. The first one, the job.python, and the second one, script.python. Here it is recommended that we have to use cut, but I'm going to use Vim editor, and then this is the command Vim, and then basic, and the name of the file basic example job or job.python. And as you can see here, this is the Python job file. Here to run, here we have commands. To run the job, you have to type python run job and then the name of the file. So if we are, when we will go, or when we will run this file, we need to use this command. Okay, and then here is the description about this file. This example shows the basic functionality of pyATS with few passing tests. Here we have importing OS, and from pyATS easy python import run, and here we have the function on it. This is the job, and now let's see the script. We only quit without saving. And here we have the script file. Here we have a description about this is a basic example.python, a very simple test script example which include common setup, TES cases, and common cleanup. And the purpose of this file of this sample test script is to show the hello world of AE test. Here we have importing logging to get the login messages, and here we have the code. You can go through code, try to understand it. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to run the job file and see the output. A description about this file is given here as well. Here we have, as you can see, common cleanup section, and here we have cut, but we used Vim. Okay, in step 5 we are going to run the job file, and again to run this file, the job file, we type python or pyATS run job and the path to the file, which is as we saw examples basic example job.py, this one. And here we have examples, and after example we have basics, and after basics we have basic example jobs.python. Okay, and you see here now, try the following command to view your logs. pyATS logs view, and the output here is similar to this one here. Here also we have some information as past, as you can see. Here we have field, here we have past, and it's here as well. In part 4, we are going to use Genie to parse iOS command output. The pyATS and Genie tools both use YAML file to know, of course, which device we need to connect. It's similar here, the concept, when also like create a YAML file, and then we put here credentials about the IP, username, and password of the device we would like to connect and use through pyATS and Genie. Okay, so to verify that Genie is installed, we can type Genie help. Let's do this here together. And to create a file, which is this file, to create a YAML file, which this file has the credentials and IP address of the device we would like to connect, we have to use the command create and the file name. The file name is created is called testbed. So here, if we would like to get more information about one of the commands inside Genie, we can use the Genie and the command and then help. So as you can see here, the first one is the create. This is a command, and this is a create a testbed. What does it mean, testbed? This is a create a file, which this file will have credentials and the information like the IP address of the device we would like to connect. Okay, so to create this file, we can create it by using the command create. If you would like to get more information about how to use this command, you can type the Genie and then the name of the command, or type the command and then help. So let's see this also together. And here we can see that the testbed, it creates a testbed file automatically. Okay, so let's create a testbed file automatically. To create a this file, we type Genie and create and then testbed, and here interactive. This interactive means that you will be given some questions or asking questions that you will have to answer. Of course, we are everything is written here, and then we have the output to be in YAML testbed.yml, and this YAML directory will be created automatically, and of course we are going to encode a password. Okay, so let's take this into steps, because this is a PDF file and we don't want to have a trouble with this again. Then space, and then let's take this command here. Interactive, now it's good. And here, as you can see, you will be asking some questions, and you can see the first one N, second one also N, third one also N, according to the tutorial 1, 2, 3. And here we need the device name, and let's copy this one. Here we need the IP address. Our IP address is 192.168.56.102. If you don't know why this IP, please see the previous video. And the username is Cisco, and the password is Cisco123 exclamation mark. And then we have the enable password. You just press enter, you don't need to put anything. And then we have a protocol. So the protocol is SSH and then O, and then we give the key. Also, I will copy paste it into levels, and then we have shell, this one here. And the OS is also iOS XE, and finally N. And as you can see, testbed file generated, YAML testbed YAML. Okay, so let's type ls. We should see YAML here, and this is the directory here. And then let's move here, and then ls, and here we have the testbed file there. Let's see the content of this file. And as you can see here, we have the name of the file, we have a connection, here is the IP address, here is the protocol, here is the password encrypted or encoded because it's given here, and here we have the username and the OS as well. Okay, in step 2 we are going to use Genie to parse output from the show IP interface brief command into JSON format. This step we need to start the second virtual image, which is this one here. Okay, so let's type here and show IP interface brief. And as you can see here, we have the IP address. So Okay, now let's forget this, and now let's try to connect to this router using this image here, or using the pyATS and Genie. Okay, so now as you can see here, we are going to use Genie to parse the command show IP interface brief. Here is the command, the testbed file, which is YAML testbed YAML, which is we just created, and the device, we should get the device name here. So again, I will going to copy this into steps because this is a PDF file. And then we click and press enter. Okay, because here is I have a problem because I am under the subdirectory and I should be under the directory CSR1KV. Now should be fine. And here enter enable password for the device, and we don't have this enable because, as you know, when you are in the user mode, you would like to move forward to the global configuration mode in the routers, you should type an enable and then the password. But now we don't have enable password, so just press enter. We should see the output now in a form of JSON. It mentions that device is not connected. Okay, let's check the YAML. So the IP address here is 192.168. 192, 168, 56, 102. Okay, so it was a problem with the testbed file, and now as you can see, the output is in a form of JSON format. So here we have interface, here we have gigabit Ethernet, and here we have the IP address, method DHCP, protocol of status up. Now we are going to see the same output, but in the case of show version. And here we have the version, as you can see. Okay, so we are now in part 5. We are going to use Genie to compare configurations. So as you have seen, Genie can be used to parse show commands into structured and format of JSON file or in a JSON format. Genie can also be used to take snapshots of configs annually and make comparison between them. Or also it can be used to automate testing deployment against a virtual environment for testing before deployment in production. And then third one, to troubleshoot configuration by doing a comparison between devices. Okay, so now let's try to do the following. We are going to add an IP version 6 to the interface Giga 1. And then we are going to use Genie again to show IP version 6 and in this format, but in this case also we will not just keep the output on the screen. We are going to direct the output to a folder verify IP version 6.1, and we should see this output here. Okay, so let's do this together. I'm going to take this one from here. Okay, enable, configure terminal, and then interface gig1, and we should paste here the output. Okay, we cannot do this, so let's type IP version 6 address, and then 2001 db8. And now let's return to Genie and just append this output. Show IP version 6, interface brief. We will use Giga1, and the output is say V. And let's keep this one here. And as you can see, Genie telling us that the first one, the structure, the first file is generated, and the name of the file is this one, bars.txt, and the second one is console.txt, and both of them under the directory verify IP version 6.1, which is automatically generated. So let's see ls, and here let's move to verify, and here ls one more time, and now let's see the command, or the cat command, to check the first one, which is about console. Here we have the output, which is the output from the console directed here, and the second one we have Paris, and here we have the output in a form of JSON format. Okay, so this is version 1. In version 2, we are going also to add a link local address, which is in the same format, IP version 6. We have to do this in the router. So I'm going IP version 6, and then address, and then okay, and now let's do the same process again, but we are going now to use the output in version 2. Let's return back, and now let's version 2. So the output now will be in a subdirectory verify IP version 6-2. And as you can see here, we will have now two versions. The first one is this one, and the second one is this one. This one should also has two files. And as you can see here, we have the first one, which is console, and the second one, which is Paris. In Genie, we can also compare the or see the difference between the two subdirectories that we just generated. So to recap here, we generated two subdirectories here to retrieve the information after modifying the first, on this one, the first IP version 6, and then we added the link local address and we put them here. So now with Genie, we can use diff, and then this is the first folder here, which is this one, and the second one is here. As you can see, now we are going to see the difference, and the difference can be found in this directory diff csr 1kb show IP version 6. So let's see this file is here. The file is this one. Let's see it. And as you can see here now, this is the output similar to what we can get from GitHub. Here is minus and here is plus, and you can see here we can see also. So the minus referring to the first file and version 1, and the second, and the plus in the version 2, and as you can see here the output. Okay, so here is also, as you can see, this is between the two directories that I just did. And in part number 6, or final one, is about to clean up and further investigation to clean or to deactivate the virtual environment. We just can type deactivate. And of course, for further investigation about using pyATS on Genie, you can use, of course, the documentation as recommended here. Thank you, and see you next video.